Hello, my name is Bianca, and I hope you're enjoying the weather over there because it's like 106 over here. It's really hot. But, anyways, my passage is from chapter 18, verses 12 to 14. I don't know if I'm supposed to read it or not, but I'm going to paraphrase it. And what Jesus is saying in this parable. He's telling his disciples, if you're a shepherd and you have 100 sheep and one strays away, wouldn't you leave the 99 and go find that lost sheep? And when you find that one sheep, wouldn't you rejoice and be happier to find it than to have the 99 that never ran away? I read right before that passage, and Jesus is talking about sin, temptations to sin, and how to deal with it. So he's teaching his disciples how to deal with things, whether it's personal ministry with other people. So he's talking about sin, how to deal with that. He says, well, if your arm is causing you to sin, chop it off. I don't know if he literally means that, but he goes on and talks about the sheep, and then right after he talks about sin again and how to deal with it when somebody else is sinning, and how to confront it. So when it comes to that parable, it's a lifestyle, I believe, that he's trying to teach his disciples. He uses the metaphor as a shepherd and sheep. It's not the first time that we've heard about a shepherd and a sheep. I think the Bible revolves a lot around that. I mean, Jesus is considered the lamb, right? The sacrifice. And all through the Bible and Psalms, you hear God being our shepherd. He leads us to green pastures. He leads us to quiet waters. He lies us down to green pastures. And leads us to green waters. Something like that. Anyways, even in John, he talks about Jesus asks John, do you love me? And John says yes. And he says, well, then attend my sheep. He asks him out like 3 times. He says, feed my sheep. So he references himself a lot as the shepherd, and people being a sheep. And I think in this passage, he's referencing the shepherd being the disciples, having a flock, having a ministry. And he says, well, wouldn't you leave that 99 to go for that one? This is what you should do. If one is lost, you go out and you go find him. I think in the historical world, it's easy for them to relate because shepherds were very common then. Shepherds attended their sheep. They took care of them. I mean, it's something that they could relate to because they knew what it was like to be a shepherd. At least the lifestyle of a shepherd, whether or not they were a shepherd, they were around it enough to understand a shepherd's heart. It was there to protect them, to feed them, to lead them to green pastures and water. I think I got that right. And he was there to groom them, to sleep there at night, to make sure they were fine. Even when they were weak and crippled, they were there to pick them up and carry them, to teach them how to be together, to stay together. And even you hear and you read stories of David, he would fight lions and fought a bear to protect his sheep or his lamb. So it's something that they understand. They get what a shepherd's heart is like. And I think that's exactly what Jesus wants to portray in them, or to teach them, is that you should have that heart for others. In contemporary world, we could relate to that as it's just ministry, whether it is ministry in a church or whether it's a personal ministry. Personally, it's just encouraging others. If one is lost, meaning they need encouragement or they need to find their way back to the Lord, to be that person that goes out of their way and ministers to them, attends them, loves them, and somehow brings them back to the Lord, whatever and however that might look like. I think for a church, especially a church, I think sometimes getting caught up in numbers, right? You have 1,000 people going to your congregation. Well, are you caught up the 99 that are there and saved? And have you forgotten about that one that maybe left and is astray? And I think those perspectives in today's world and culture, it applies greatly. So I hope this made sense, and have a great day. Thank you.